Mark Rogers TV talking some SEC football, going to Starkville, Mississippi to talk Mississippi State Bulldogs coming off a bowl win in a 6-7 campaign. Bring in Ethan Lee from For Whom the Cowbell Tolls to start our positional breakdowns for the Bulldogs heading into spring camp. So, Ethan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, quarterback Nick Fitzgerald obviously showed down the stretch that he's an up-and-comer. Definitely provides the dual threat option and really can scare some defenses. So your thoughts about his development as you can attract him through the 2016 campaign?
Early on, he was very raw. He's a very talented runner. You saw that early on in the season. But he struggled passing, and he struggled passing consistently throughout the entire season. His best game came against Arkansas, where he looked like a senior at times throwing the ball, but he just couldn't continue that trend in all of his games the entire season. You look at him, he's a big guy, 6'5", 230 pounds, has an arm that can put the ball anywhere on the field, and he was one of the best runners in the conference. Looking at just all of the running stats, he was one of the best. So he's going to need to bring a lot of maturity going into next season to be able to develop. If he can get up from that 55% completion percentage, then go into the 60s, become a better passer, especially on short intermediate routes. His development should be able to continue from there. He shouldn't need to rely on his legs as much. And, the offense should benefit from that greatly.
Yeah, Ethan, if I remember Dan Mullen's comments as he walked off the field after the blocked field goal to preserve the bowl game win, he was asked about Fitzgerald's performance. And obviously, without his running ability in many key situations in that game, they probably don't pull out the victory. And Mullen quickly, credited his diverse skills, but at the same time said, we need a more consistent passer next season. We're going to be really going hard at it over the next several months to make him a more refined passer. And you mentioned the 55% completion percentage. That's depending on the style of offense, and obviously the help you get from the wide receivers can be misleading, but that's typically a little low. You would want something in the 60 to 65% range out of a starting quarterback in the SEC. Nick Fitzgerald, hopefully he's going to play all the meaningful minutes and get the meaningful snaps. And if we see anybody else, hopefully it's because you got like a 5-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. We know it's a one-play situation. The backup quarterback is the least important guy on the roster until the starter goes down. Then he's the most important guy on the roster. And you've got some definite talent here. So the scouts love one guy in particular, but a lot of inexperience there behind Fitzgerald.
Mississippi State just brought in 2 quarterbacks with this recruiting class, one of which signed in, he enrolled early, so he's been on campus since December, and that's Keytaon Thompson. He's the guy that everybody is raving about. 4-star, very talented dual threat, highly recruited by just about everybody in the nation. LSU really wanted to keep him at home because he's a Louisiana kid. State was able to pull him. He's been, working out. One of the quotes that Dan Mullen said on signing day was, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, but, Thompson's been on campus. He's not choosing any hats today. He's been working out all day. And so he's been able to develop, work out. And 2 notable guys, 2 other quarterbacks that enrolled early for State would be Dak Prescott and Nick Fitzgerald. So getting that extra time, he's going to go through spring practices. He's going to go through a spring game. He gets a little bit of experience that way. The other guy that State is bringing in is Robbie Blosser out of California. He was not recruited very heavily. He's a 3-star guy, was expected to go sign with some smaller schools, but State was able to get him to add more depth because behind Thompson and Fitz, there's nobody else. So he's going to be walking on at State, but he does provide some depth. And hopefully we don't need to go down that far the roster this season, but you never know.
Yeah, Robbie Blosser out of Los Angeles, as you mentioned, 71st rated pro-style quarterback in the country, according to 247 Sports. Keytaon Thompson, I think you made mention of this before we started recording, the highest quarterback recruit ever for Mississippi State.
Yeah, at least under Dan Mullen, I don't, would expect that it's the same for the entire Mississippi State history. So
yeah, they haven't been rating these guys for a heck of a whole long time. It's been like early 2000s that they really started to crunch the numbers. But fifth rated dual threat quarterback in the nation out of New Orleans, seventh rated player in the state of Louisiana, and we know that per capita Louisiana is just about as good as it gets across the nation. All right, talking quarterback at Mississippi State, Nick Fitzgerald looking for a big breakout season after scoring 16 touchdowns, throwing for 21 last year. So not necessarily a breakout season, but a more consistent campaign here in 2017. Ethan Lee, for whom the cowbell tolls, the SB Nation platform for Mississippi State athletics, joining us. Ethan, we always appreciate the breakdown.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.